This in-depth study embarks on a comprehensive analysis of the storyline trajectories spanning Bloodline's inception in 2020, with the overarching goal of showcasing the striking parallels that unfold between the captivating Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and the enthralling Bloodline Saga. And enthralling is the only word that we could use for it, because talk about long-form storytelling. I'm a fan. Swapnaneel, I will shut up and tee it over to you.
Hello, everyone. I am Swapnaneel Basu, a postgraduate student in English literature from Kolkata, India. And in my 12 years of watching professional wrestling, this is most probably the best era I have witnessed. The WWE has previously gone through quite a dark phase, but the Triple H era has seen a significant boom in everything, be it quality, viewership, or fans. Therefore, I feel genuinely happy to be a part as a fan in this era. And what else has captivated the entire industry than the fantastic storyline of the Bloodline? Besides, WWE's superhero movies have always captivated my attention, and I am a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially the Avengers series. So I thought, what would be better than making a blend of the two of my favorite forms of entertainment? The Bloodline Saga of WWE and the Avengers of MCU have striking parallels, which I will try to portray in this paper. The first thing I would like to point out is that WWE has hired Ralph Fee as director of character development, who has previously served as a writer of Marvel Comics. Thus, the parallels seen are obvious. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, in an interview, said, I quote, there are these characters in Roman and Bloodline story that have been looking for revenge, looking for justice themselves. Therefore, I can see why people bring up that you need groups for the fight, I unquote. Thus, clearly hinting the similarities in the stories between the two. So let's explore the parallels. The Bloodline storyline technically began with a feud between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso at Clash of Champions 2020. After Uso was defeated by Reigns at an I Quit match in Hell in a Cell 2020, he turned heel, aligning with the tribal chief to safeguard himself and his brother from the tyranny, thus forming the faction Bloodline. Now, if we link this story to MCU, we can establish Roman as Thanos, who wanted to wipe out half of the life to stabilize overpopulation and prevents life extinction. With the help of his children, he fights against the superheroes like Avengers. Similarly, Reigns is helped by the Bloodline to fight against his challengers. Main event Jey Uso resembles Gamora, who was forced to join Thanos, as Jey too was forced to join the Bloodline. Gamora tries to acquire the Power Stone from Peter Quill in the first Guardians of Galaxy movie, exactly like Jey, who became the right-hand man of the head of the table and had to do the dirty work for Reigns, like attacking Daniel Bryan on the October 30, 2020 episode of SmackDown. Thus, the obvious parallel that fits Jimmy Uso is Nebula. Gamora eventually decides to stop Thanos from his plan of destroying the universe. Similarly, Jey Uso leaves the Bloodline in order to stop the tyrannical rule of Reigns and joins the Face to fight the Bloodline. And in parallel to Nebula, Jimmy leaves the Bloodline and then again rejoins it. Paul Heyman, the wise man, can represent Ebony Maw, the brain of Thanos' army, and the enforcer of Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, resembles Cool Obsidian. Now let's talk about the heroes of the company. While Roman was on a part-time schedule, even after being the Universal Champion, Seth freaking Rollins did everything in his power to give the fans a fighting champion that the universe deserved. Just like Tony Stark in MCU, Rollins would do anything to protect the company. In the first Iron Man movie, Stark realizes that the weapons that he created are dangerous, which could easily destroy the world. Thus, he created the Iron Man suit to counter the villains. Similarly, in WWE, Rollins won the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship to counter Reigns' championship, which according to him was not for the WWE universe, but for his selfish agendas. He believed that Reigns is a monster that he created, a part-timer whose actions caused darkness for the company. Rollins in the 12th February 2024 episode of Raw in a promo said, I quote, the man Roman Reigns is partly my fault. I taught him everything I know, but I could have never imagined the monster he has become. I unquote. He blamed himself for what Roman Reigns had become, exactly like Iron Man, who blamed himself for creating dangerous weapons. Captain America of WWE is the current face of the company, Cody Rhodes. Like Steve Rogers, Rhodes acts upon what he believes is right, even if it even if that rubbed people the wrong way, like bringing Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw. Be it helping the Winter Soldier or bringing Jey Uso to Monday Night Raw, Cody does what he believes is right. Cody took leave from the WWE to reinvent himself outside the company and came back better than ever. This resembles Captain's 70 years frozen in the Arctic. Both entered the world, which changed a lot from the last time they were in. Then happened the battle of ideals between the heroes, which was the civil war between Iron Man and Captain America. Cody's first feud after returning at WrestleMania 38 was with Seth Rollins, which climaxed in a fantastic trilogy. After the end of Civil War, Steve Rogers lost his shield, which again parallels Cody losing 9 months of his career due to his pectoral muscle injury. The other important characters in the Bloodline Saga were Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Their individual relationship clearly signifies Thor and Loki, respectively. Owens was betrayed by his friend Zayn at Survivor Series War Games 2022. Like Loki betrayed Thor multiple times. On the other side, in search of power and fame, both Loki and Sami Zayn join forces with the devil. Loki takes Thanos' army, which is the Chitauri army, to invade Earth and secure the Space Stone or the Tesseract. And Sami joins the Bloodline and does their duty and does their dirty work in SmackDown. However, like Loki, Sami betrays Roman to stop his tyranny but remains unsuccessful at the Elimination Chamber. A funny parallel can also be drawn as just like Loki had the ability to shapeshift, Sami too shapeshifted as El Generico. Randy Orton can also be compared to Drax, who lost his family to Thanos, similarly, how Randy lost a few years of his career due to the bloodline. The storyline in the Marvel Cinematic Universe finally comes to a confrontation between Thanos and Earth's mightiest heroes. Therefore, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes face each other at WrestleMania 39. This is the Infinity War of WWE. Rogers and Stark were not on speaking terms, just like Rhodes and Rollins. Still, as Captain America goes to Wakanda to fight Thanos, Rhodes goes to dethrone the tribal chief Roman Reigns. The main event of WrestleMania even had the factions fighting like Infinity War, as Usos, Owens, and Sami all got involved. Both Cap and Cody were very close to defeating the villain, but all of a sudden, Thanos, with the help of Infinity Stones, and Roman, with the help of Solo Sikoa, defeated the heroes. Just like the Avengers, our WWE heroes lost. In the MCU, half of the universe is dead, whereas in WWE, the universe had to have the part-timer as champion for another long year. And then the hopes once again emerged when the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble 2024. Like Captain America and Iron Man, Rollins and Cody too set their differences aside to fight against the villain of the company. Stark had a family, but still, he decided to risk his life for the Earth, just like how Rollins had his championship and the challenger Drew McIntyre for the WrestleMania, but still decided to fight the Bloodline alongside Cody Rhodes for the WWE Universe. On the other hand, everyone asked Cody that does he trust Rollins? He still trusted his former rival blindly, like Steve Rogers, who said in the movie Captain America and the Winter Soldier, I quote, "Soldiers trust each other. That's what makes it an army," I unquote. The introduction of Rock is a tricky one, but still he can be seen as Ronan, who allied with Thanos but eventually betrays him in the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a possibility for the Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 41. The parallel peaked on 22nd February 2024 episode of SmackDown during the face-off segment between Reigns and Rhodes. Starting from the snap by Reigns to the outfit worn by Rollins to the face-off between the factions. Rhodes even said, "We are in the ninth inning now," which clearly resembles a dialogue from Infinity War. "We are at the end game now." Thus, if WrestleMania 39 was Infinity War, then WrestleMania 40 was forming to be the Endgame. At WrestleMania 40 Night 1, the team of Rollins and Rhodes lost the main event in the tag match against Rock and Roman Reigns to make the main event of Night 2 a Bloodline rules match. This resembles the moment from the movie Avengers Endgame where the heroes were beaten and were on the verge of losing once again, just before the moment famously known as On Your Left. This was the superheroes who vanished, came back to fight the army of Thanos, and assisted the Avengers to save the Earth. This moment occurs at the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania. As the Bloodline interfered in the match, Jey Uso and Seth Rollins came to counter the attack. But in a pleasant surprise, John Cena and Undertaker came to help Cody. This makes both the scene from the movie and the match extremely emotional. But the final blow was dealt to Thanos by Iron Man and not by Captain America. This was poetically incorporated by WWE. The final sequence of the main event sees Roman grabbing a chair and about to hit Cody to secure the victory. But Rollins was standing there in the shield gear and Roman hits him instead. Thus, Seth kept his promise of being the shield and literally shielded Cody from the chair shot and thus shielded him from losing. Therefore, Rollins was very actively involved in the end of Roman Reigns, and he was the reason for which Roman Reigns lost. Therefore, Iron Man sacrifices himself to defeat Thanos. Similarly, Rollins gives his everything against Bloodline, thus losing his own championship against Drew McIntyre and also getting injured in the process. But at the larger picture, WrestleMania ended in a happy ending with Cody dethroning the tribal chief. And to celebrate, there were almost everyone who was wronged by the bloodline, thus paralleling the MCU. Captain America at the end of Endgame goes back to past to live his entire life and finally fulfills the promise made to Peggy Carter for a dance. WrestleMania 2 ends with Cody finally finishing the story and fulfilling his promise of handing the championship belt in his mother's hand. Therefore, these are the similarities that I could draw from the Marvel and the Bloodline storyline. WrestleMania 40 was just a conclusion, just like Avengers Endgame. I enjoyed drawing these parallels and was surprised how everything automatically connected at the end. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed.
Fantastic storytelling indeed. Oh my gosh, I was just about to type. I was like, I didn't even think of the Iron Man comparison. Like it's just it's so obvious, but so subliminal at the same time until you piece things together like you did. And that was just a beautiful, beautiful comparison and analysis there. Fantastic job. Are there any questions or
Thank you.
comments? People are acknowledging you in the chat, doing their bloodline, putting our ones up.
I acknowledge WWE, so.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, this may be somewhat beyond the scope, but as you were speaking, I was really engrossed and I was thinking about how each of these organizations, right, the Marvel company, right, in the WWE, they each have their own sort of relationship with the military, and that's getting funneled through, right, into the movies are being shaped by, Department of Defense gets to review if you don't present the military in the way we like, we're taking our helicopters home, you can't use them. Totally different relationship, I'm guessing, although I haven't looked into it with the WWE. Do you think there's potential for you to look into something like that, like how this additional force kind of weaves through this interfacing of the Marvel and the wrestling universe?
Yes, I think the armies like in the troop celebration events where the WWE supports the armies. So from that we can count that they respect the army, and for that reason too, like in the Marvel where the armies were shown just as Captain America in the movie Captain America, the armies were beautifully portrayed. So I think the parallels can be drawn and we can think about that, and we can definitely look forward to these parallels.
Very true. Yeah, the military, I mean, It's always funny though how WWE uses it, right? It's just always that here, just look over here. Like, don't worry about all this other stuff. Look, America, look, we're supporting our trip. Like, don't look over here. So it's so funny, like how that's done all the time. Wow. Yeah, like you said, in Marvel and these comic narratives, right? It's always positive as well. This is a
Yeah.
good point and great question. Are there any other comments or questions? I thought somebody else may have had their hand up.
I did have a question.
Yeah, Tyler, go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Can you firstly, can you remind me how to pronounce your name? I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, it is Swapnaneel.
Swapnaneel. Yes. Okay. So Swapnaneel. What? Just in the context of the story, just like random question, but like, how do you think like Cody's run with AEW factors into that story? Like, who are they?
Okay, I think like in AEW, he reinvented himself, not only in AEW, in the indie scene when he went out from the WWE. Really, the company didn't see him as the main eventer he is. He believed himself and he went out and he reinvented. And then Vince McMahon himself went to his house and brought him back. So, Captain America 2, when he woke up, Nick Fury uh, asked him to join to the Avengers because he also did not believe that after 70 years he can fight. But Cap always believed in himself and he fought in the Avengers movie and helped the Earth. So I think this might help and this might be a parallel which I can think of right now.
No, I definitely understand that. That's actually really cool.
Thank you.